build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me balls, but I can see between to a dusty yard and long gone green. We call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello everybody, welcome to Shortbangers. My name's Matty. I'm your host for tonight. I'm joined by, who will start with, John. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm good. I was just laughing at Brian there with his Usain Bolt impression.
The look to the skies. Good, right? And also then you're probably giving the game away there for our next pundit, Brian. Brian, how are you doing?
Luke Skywanker. That's who you could be. I'm fine, thank you. I'm very
Good.
well.
Hi, it's a nice wee introduction there, Luke Skywanker. How would you do that?
Skywank?
Yeah.
Oh. Fly?
It's like being in the Mile High Club, but just when you're on your own.
Aye.
I'm not sure you can call it a club if you're on your own.
Well, if I could call it what I want.
Aye.
We make the rules here.
When you're whacking off at 27,000 feet, rules go out the window.
Unfortunately, nothing else does. It just stays messy. That's grim. Right, apologies if you were looking out for the Long Bangers podcast on Tuesday. We had a wee issue recording the podcast, so it didn't happen. We'll make another one next week instead. Right, Short Bangers, 20 minutes on the clock, and then we'll get started on the questions. So the timer starts now, and the first question comes from Hibsboy69. This was on the back of the Aberdeen game. He said, thoughts on Ryan Porteous? He is the most overrated Hibs player I think I've ever seen. A liability most weeks, I'm sad to say. Always feel there's a catastrophe just around the corner. John, you having that?
No.
What part do you disagree with the most?
All of it.
All of it.
Nah, so on a serious note, how often have we seen or heard he's the most overrated or the worst player I've ever seen at Easter Road?
For any player, you mean?
Aye, like I think we hear it so many times, and I mean, fuck me, like Ambrose came in for the same sort of criticism at times, and there's folk that are still crying out for him to come back. You know, critique the mistake, critique the error, whatever it is you want to call it, but the worst player I've ever seen at Easter Road, nah, I'm not having that.
Fair enough. Brian?
He was garbage against Aberdeen, and he was probably the worst performance I've seen him put in against Hearts, to be honest. He seemed to shank everything. He was all over the shop. But no, he has got a tremendous amount of talent. He's still young. He's only going to get better. I think he's got all the tools needed to be, in all honesty, probably one of the outstanding centre halves we've had in the last of our generation. Basically, if I'm being honest with you, I think he really has got all the tools in his locker. He just needs to, maybe just the mental side of it, he needs to improve a wee bit. You know, just sharpen up a wee bit around the edges. But no, I'm all for him. I think he's arguably the best we've had coming through our ranks since the golden generation, I would say, unless I'm missing somebody.
I would tend to agree with it. I think if you were to judge him on those two performances, you would probably say he is overrated. But if you judge him over what he's done in the Hibs jersey since he's broke into the team, I think he justifies all the credit that he gets or the praise that he gets. So
Yep.
that's my view on it.
He's still what, 19? Is that right? 19, 20?
Round about that, John.
So he's still really young, and he's still got a lot to learn. He's going to have a shocker. But what I've seen from him so far, which I think is one of the standout qualities that he has, is that he's improved from the very raw, very enthusiastic, over-the-top centre-half that he saw to begin with. And he's become a much better player since then.
Agreed. Okay, so the next question then comes from Pride of Edinburgh. Is water wet?
Yeah.
Well, There was somebody replied to that. I can't remember. I think it was Freddie. Do you know the cat of or formerly of Hibsnet? He said water itself isn't wet. It's when it comes into contact with other things it makes them wet. I don't know.
Aye.
Definitely feels wet.
So I think this was partly spurred by the boy having a conversation with his wife, saying that certain rain gets you wet and others don't. And I don't know if you remember, there was a conversation that us three or us four had when Craig was still above water, ironically. And I'd suggested that there was rain that gets you wet and there was rain that doesn't seem to affect you quite as much. So the point I got the piss ripped out of me at the time for it because I never got to fully make my point. But my point was that like fine drizzle soaks you within a matter of seconds, but you can go out for a walk in heavy rain for I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, whatever, and you don't seem to get as wet as quickly.
You've chucked it.
Aye. I wish I was drunk. Right. Next question comes from Raimondo Brun. What's the most medically qualified African nation?
Peru.
John?
Kenya.
Well, leave me out of it. I don't care what you think I am. You've got to have an answer for this.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Aye. It's a pity that Big Macalambi was Belgian and not from an African country, because then we could have said he was Macalambulance and he would have been
Jesus Christ.
medically qualified. Macalambulance. I'm here all week. But he's Belgian, so it doesn't count.
Do you have to be?
Well,
Can we get Brian hosting?
No, we've done that once before and it did not end well.
Next question, Neil Whelan. What's the shortest bang you've ever had? I said that question's got. So that question's got potential, and he said that's what she said as well.
I remember it.
Go then.
I do remember it. I don't wish to come across as quite the stallion to our female listeners, but I tend to bit of a Duracell bunny. But I was once tasked to try and you know, beat the clock, as it were. And I'm glad to say I passed with flying colours. One of those ones come in, you bury the head in the pillow and you go like a pneumatic drill. Thinking of Kelly Brook. But we got there. We're all
John.
badly disappointed.
I'm not even sure how to answer that, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, well, 7 seconds. That's John's answer.
15.
15. Aye. Right, Kunster. Who's going to tell the new American players we don't play in England?
Oh, did I hear that interview right yesterday when the boy said that he'd never been to England before? Is that roughly what he said?
So
I think it was something along those lines.
The tie-up is with Charleston Battery, which is an interesting name for a football team anyway. When I saw him tweet about it, I was like, oh, this is a new energy supplier or something that we're announcing. And then I read it into it, and I was like, oh, that's an actual football team.
With the amount of suppliers that Hibs have, contracts that Hibs have drafted up with different people to sponsor them recently, like, I'm sure that'll be in the post. Rechargeable batteries, or I don't know, official floodlight partner or something.
I think there's positives and negatives for that link up, to be honest.
Right, Kaiser Soze says, do you think a bit higher when going for an American team pair up?
Possibly, but then I think there's a lot of American teams that would aim to go higher than Hibs. So
it's a decent shout.
And if we did go with like an Inter Miami or whatever, I very much doubt they would be in a rush to respond to our emails or hanging on the line waiting for Graham Maffett to phone them. So we're maybe better starting off with a smaller franchise.
We do have other ones in the pipeline, don't we? That is what they said. They had one ready to be announced and then another few in the works.
I didn't see that. I don't know, how highly do you rate American soccer?
Couldn't tell you a thing about it. I don't watch it at all.
Me
What I
neither.
love is the Lewis Morgan, who we were once went with. I think he went to, was it for St Mirren to Celtic, I think. He's now playing in the same team as Gonzalo Higuain, who once commanded an £80 million transfer fee, and Blaise Matuidi. So, you know, he's made a decent lifestyle choice there, hasn't he?
Aye, could do worse there.
Aye. In Miami, playing with those two.
I've played the worst 5 teams.
So, right, on the same topic and in a similar pun as your positive and negative answer, Brian, Belgium Lascar, how would you rate this pairing up with Charleston Battery? Would you give it an A, an AA, or a triple A? Right, Paul Mackay, do you eat soup or do you drink it?
Eat.
Depends how thick it is.
It's as thick as me, right? Eating it or drinking it?
Eating it.
Eating it. I would say you eat soup.
Even a cup of soup, I put that in a bowl.
Well, that's fucking
That's because you're a maverick.
under your maverick lifestyle, that isn't it? Like if you could sum you up in one bit of behaviour, there a cup of soup in a bowl. That's it. There's Brian right there.
Brian's full middle name is Brian does not conform to social norms, Dickie.
You're actually, you know what, you're onto something there, because I actually put shower gel in the bath as well. So it's just a big fuck you to the manufacturers. I'll do what I want. I'm not reading the label.
Right. Okay, Harry MacArthur. If Hibs were playing tonight in place of Scotland, what would the score be?
3-0 Hibs.
I think that's obvious, isn't it? 7-0.
No.
0-0.
What do you think? You're going to watch the game?
Aye. Well,
Aye.
I'll catch the second half. I've got to go and pick Josh up for coaching again on a Thursday night, so I'll nash off and do that, and then come back and get the second half. I'll listen on the radio.
Brian,
What
will
about
you be tuning in?
Aye, I'm going to go to my friendly local takeaway round the corner and get a big pizza, and I'm going to sit and watch the game, and I have no real enthusiasm or optimism, but I'm going to watch it because everybody else is.
Fair dues. I think that's outstanding for Scotland. It does seem to have kind of the fever's gripped the country a wee bit. If you look at Twitter, a lot of folk very excited about the game that didn't normally care about Scotland.
I think we've started to turn a corner. I'm gradually building up excitement for Scotland that I haven't had since the Walter Smith, Alec McLeish days many years ago.
Don't think I've been this excited since the last time they let me down.
Kind of goes hand in hand with Scotland. I hope we win though. Right, next question. 150k on Hanlon Hill. There's a few of them here. Right, has anyone's face ever stuck after the wind changed?
Stevie Fulton's.
I think I'd explain. Well, I think it happened to me. Has anyone jumped off a bridge because their pal told them to?
No.
Died from eating chewing gum?
I'm eating chewing gum now, actually.
Have you?
Aye. Probably. Aye, there'll be folk choking on stuff all the time.
What I used to hope happened with chewing gum and bubble gum is if you swallowed it when you farted, a bubble came out the other end.
You ever tried to light your own farts?
I have attempted such a thing.
And
It
were
didn't
you
work.
successful in
Nope.
lighting the...
That I was not.
Was it a
you?
shite fart or was it a shite lighter?
Probably a bit of both, to be fair.
Well, you need to try it again then. Can you do it on the next long bangers or short bangers?
I'm not sure you are quite ready for that image,
I am definitely ready to see your arsehole.
but not shooting a wee jet of flame out the back of it, no.
Given my propensity to shit myself, my farts generally are a sort of controlled explosion, so I don't think putting a lighter in that area is...
Do you remember our last video where the four of us were together with the Abernethys?
Yeah.
Yes.
That could be the next one. All four of us simultaneously trying to light a fart.
Well, if we could try to make a wee tune, then if we were going to do it, I would expect us to at least get, the first 4 bars of a well-known song out of our farts.
There are definitely Long Bangers listeners out there that are adept at doing that kind of stuff on the computer. So I think we should give it a go as a wee Christmas present. See us into 2021.
I think I'm busy that day. Right, has anyone got piled some?
I was trying to build up to a pun there about seeing 2020 out with a bang.
Yeah.
Don't do it, John.
Yep. Aye, yeah, probably best not to. Right, has anyone got piles from sitting on the curb? Probably. Got their fingers stuck picking a bogey? Or got square eyes from sitting too close to the TV? No. Right.
No.
Mike, so we know Mike's had some issues with his Jambo wife. So Brian, this is for you. He says, do I refit a soft closed toilet seat or a normal one to remove the smell from the gloating Jambo wife?
No, just remove it entirely. Just don't even replace it. Just flip it clean off, and that's it. Fucker.
Did you do that after the toilet seat or before? Right. Whatever. This ain't no disco. Why does Robbie Nielsen brush his teeth with Brasso? I've never noticed his teeth.
Yeah, I'd imagine because there was a surplus of Brasso in the stationery cupboard ordered by Craig Levine in haste.
Sadly unused. Did you see the documentary on them?
I haven't
watch any
yet.
of it?
No, not yet, but it's most certainly on my to-do list.
So that's the first thing they missed a trick because I wanted them to do frame by frame a replica of the Office opening sequence. As it pans up the big 70s office block with the music and everything. They should have opened with that and they never. So they got a score down for that. But then it starts with Gary Locke, who just does his best David Brent. It's fucking brilliant. He comes in and I think he says, "Oh, look at them there," and he points to some women dressed up like air stewardesses, and there's a wee grin, and he's all like, "Hello," like over enthusiastic hellos to everybody, who all just kind of look at him like, "Fuck off."
I can't take a man seriously that enjoys being frequently pissed on.
Nope, me either. It's worth a watch for that. They kind of started on a half decent result for them as well. You imagine the season that they followed and how much went wrong for Hearts. They never won a game for 7 months or something. And the first bit of footage they show you is them scoring against Rangers on a 1-1 draw. And I thought, well, that's fucking taking a lot of the fun out of it, hasn't it? So they kind of think we're up to December. Stendhal had just come in, so we should get the Boxing Day derby in the next one, unless they just skip that altogether. It's the BBC, so there's a good chance they'll just pretend that never happened and go to the one at Easter Road.
Aye, if Tom English has been let loose in the editing suite, then we're fucked.
Aye. Right, next question then is from Niall Kenny. What's the worst away trip you've had? Nothing to do with the result, purely the trip itself.
It would be Amon Vale where my father pissed on me.
Aye, that's pretty grim. John?
I had a really shite trip to Sweden once.
I think you're the only person that's ever said that.
What's that?
I think you're the only person that's ever said that.
What, about a shite trip to Sweden?
Aye, everyone always has a good time in Sweden.
I think the only good bit about Sweden, so where we landed, it was in one of those Ryanair airports that was, forgive me for my geography here, it's not my strong point.
Denmark.
Aye, but it might as well have been. It was one of those, like, it's Stockholm, but actually it's about a fucking 100 miles away. So we've landed there. It's basically this leftover tin shack for the Second World War. And of course we were going back at the same airport, and there must have been, I don't know, 150 easy Hibs fans, and they've all clocked this gorgeous airport security worker that was doing like all the patting down when you've got, when you've set off the metal detector.
Did you get his name?
Bjorn.
So every hibby there was finding every bit of metal that they could, and they were just stashing it in their pockets and across their body so they could get patted in by this poor girl.
Talking to Ryanair, it was their rivals EasyJet. They had an advert recently which kind of was this dreamy, like the idea that they take you to places beyond your imagination. And I think the tagline was, "Where will we fly you today?" And I was thinking probably about 70 miles to the city that I thought I was fucking going to.
I thought you were going to break into other airlines that are available and chat there.
Nah, bollocks to that. Don't fly Ryanair though, they're cunts. Right. Brian, you've got your answer already. I'd say Wraith Rovers away when it got abandoned at half time and it was pissing down with rain.
That was good.
Aye. Didn't think we saw any goals that game either.
I didn't go.
Eh?
I didn't go to that game.
You're wise. Peter Henderson, did Hearts really get relegated?
Yes, 6 times.
6
in one
times.
summer.
Multiple times. It was the best relegation ever. Williams asking, I can't be bothered watching Scotland game and hate international football. Should I watch the game tonight given the hype or panic like normal?
Watch it because we're all watching it, and if it's shite, just put the Hearts documentary on straight after it for a bit of a giggle.
Yeah, good advice. Right, Jordan, the Hypey, greatest Hypey to never have been capped by Scotland.
Russell Latapy.
Ross Chisholm.
Ross Chisholm. Do you think he got? Did he get capped at youth level?
I don't know.
He could probably get a job in the airline business. It's just one of these sort of runway controllers, just sort of just pointing, just directing 747s across the tarmac.
Did Kevin McAllister ever get capped? Do you know?
No, I saw him listed on a thread. He might have been capped at like under 21 level or something.
I liked Willie Miller. Right back. I don't know if he was ever capped. I thought he was brilliant.
I don't think he ever got capped. He was solid,
He was
like the big dirty tackle. Right, couple last questions. Time's up, but we've got time for a couple more. Neil Whelan, in recognition of Super John McGinn, what are your favourite meatballs?
IKEA's.
Oh, are they no like tiny wee things, like wee dehydrated testicles?
Well, won't be having them again then.
I like big meatballs.
I mean, the Campbell's meatballs in the tin. Did you have them when you were wee?
So that was funnily enough. I couldn't remember the name of them, and they are now Fray Bentos meatballs.
Are they?
I think, I don't know, like, see the branding of the Campbell's ones back in the day, I think it kind of suggested that they were just eyelids and lips, whereas Fray Bentos has got a wee bit of a feeling of being a wee bit more upmarket, but it's still shite off the flair that they've scraped up and fashioned
That's
into
the
ball.
second time you've said something that nobody else has ever said in the history of the world.
What's
Fray
that?
Bentos is a bit more upmarket.
Then Campbell, like, honestly, like, if you look at the labelling,
Pie in a fucking tin, John.
if you look at the label for the Campbell's meatballs for like 20 years ago compared to the current Fray Bentos packaging, you would think, oh, like I could get involved in that. That's quite nice. But it's no. They're both bullshit. Ignore them, avoid them, leave them alone.
All right. Johnny McJohnface, he said, if at the end of the second lockdown you could choose between a foreign holiday with your wife or pints and steaks with the lads, what would be your choice? Would it be well done, medium rare, or rare? Very good. Right, Neil Renton, are Thursdays the new Fridays?
Or what?
Does anybody care what day it is anymore? Like, I've totally lost track of what day it is these days. We're working from home. It's like
Life has no
the
meaning.
fucking same.
Nah, it's all bullshit.
Oh,
I'm
bullshit.
back at working now, so my week unfortunately now has a structure. But before then, every day was Friday. Every day.
Aye. All right. Well, that's us out of time for the night. Thanks everybody for sending in your questions. We'll get another episode out at the start of next week after Hibs have played Dundee. In the meantime, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
But the whiskey's gone, I'm sober as a judge. Makes the bone on the Dry County line. I pledged upon. When they trailed me down, when I broke free, I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink what I know.